Hello and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Speed JPO 303 channel for another episode of my Formula One 26 My Team JPO career mode. This is episode number 18, and this is our last sprint format race of the season. Well, I finally found some time to do the last sprint format race of the season because this is going to be the longest out of all of them, because they're at the Singapore Grand Prix at the Marina Bay circuit for episode number 18. If you missed the previous one, episode number 17, it was at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It was a very close race over there. Be sure to check it out in my live streaming on youtube.com/itspeedjpo303 and subscribe to my channel by clicking on the red bell to your right. And then leave your links and comments down below. Be sure to subscribe to my channel to youtube.com/speedjpo303 and then twitch.tv/speedjpo303. Follow up to my channel there. Then if you want to check AI videos, you can go to TikTok at SpeedJPO303, Pabo Morel Instagram, and DeviantArt at SpeedJPO3. Well, it was a very close race, but we're going to have another rainy situation here. We are going to be facing a grid penalty because we changed our components in our car, so we're going to be doing that. We're going to be, because we changed our engine, so we are facing a 10-place grid penalty for this car. So that way now we can just go to this limit and everything, but it won't happen in the sprint race, but it will happen in the main event race. So we start a place that we're on top of the board of, then we will start into the back of the field. So we will be facing a 10-place grid penalty after the main event qualifying. But this is going to be a long episode here because this is our last sprint format race, and then the last 6 we can finish up easily. Before we face another start of the sprint race at China, which will be next season. Hopefully we can do good here and try to do our best we can. Also try to beat out the rain in the sprint race for 20 laps. But it ought to be a very good one, and let's hope we can keep it out smoothly and do very well. Because it is going to be a good episode here for the Singapore Grand Prix. It's a long race, but let's hope we can keep it the momentum going and then keep it quite smooth here at Marina Bay Circuit. All right, here we go. Getting set for the sprint qualifying here at the Singapore Grand Prix. So the things will go good before the rains come through. It ought to be a very good episode, but let's hope it will be. And then also a championship deciding race for Pepi Marty. He's going to be doing something that no rookie has done before.
And before we can go racing,
World Championship.
We need to go qualifying. Who will be on pole for the sprint to come? We're about to find out.
Looks a lot more brighter than it has been.
Right, we're right on the cusp now. We've been pushed down to P11.
Well, we picked it up a little bit in the second lap, so you can create 100% ability over here. Vic Martins is P6, but we're down into P13. But it will be enough to make it into the second qualifying session. Minute 33.582. Well,
and that's it for sprint
P14.
qualifying. Plenty more coming up over the rest of the weekend.
We're not reaching the
so
minute
we'll see you
31
all
mark.
tomorrow.
I don't know why, but it's just that the car is a little bit too slow. All right, now we are into the second qualifying round, second sprint qualifying in this race. So hopefully we can make it into the top 10.
Okay, we've been pushed down to P13. That's 5 minutes to go.
I slowed it down a little bit too much. Well, I have to make that slowdown going into that final turn and slow down the car. We're still stuck in a minute 33.293. It could have been a little bit more faster.
And that's it for sprint qualifying. Plenty more coming up over the rest of the weekend. So we'll see you all tomorrow.
Round. Well, it's going to put us into P12, but we gave it a good effort, but it's still not enough. Still having a lot of trouble in qualifying with these tracks. Okay, let's see what's going to be conquering during the last sprint race of the season here at the Singapore Grand Prix for episode number 18. And hopefully we can move up and then get into a top podium. And then let's see what happens in the main event qualifying, because I know it's going to be pretty rainy, but maybe we could edge out a little bit of strategy and try to get a little bit more faster to get on top of the board. So let's get ready for our final sprint race of the season at the Singapore Grand Prix at the Marina Bay circuit. 20 laps of racing. That's how it will compare.
Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. And here's our track, 4.94 kilometers long, and overtaking chances into the first corner, into turn 14 at the end of the Esplanade, and now into turn 16 in the newly reprofiled sector that we first ran on in 2023. Still though, it's punishing and tough on the brakes, and the heat and humidity will take an effect on our drivers. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Verstappen, George Russell and Antonelli, Piastri, Hadjar, Martins and Alex Albon, Colapinto, Pepe Marti, Carlos Sainz and Behrman, Lindblad, Lawson, Nico Hulkenberg and Fernando Alonso, Bortoletto, Gasly, Ocon, Perez, Bottas and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint. Alongside me here in the commentary box today, former racing driver extraordinaire, Naomi Schiff. Well, they say that a change is as good as a rest, and whilst there's not much rest on show in the sprint format today, there's definitely a change to what we're usually seeing on the track. Now, you're the racing driver in this partnership, so tell us about this racing driver. Put us in their shoes. How are they going to be feeling?
It's a very special time for the drivers. It's almost like everything around you slows down and you become hyper-aware. So your nerves slightly go up, your adrenaline's going up. It's the perfect time to start focusing on your visualizations and preparing for the race. So you want to avoid distractions and really stay cool, calm and focused.
Okay, Mark here, radio check. Check, check, can you hear me? Okay, we had a fantastic result at the last race. Let's try it again here.
All right, so everybody is going to be going with medium tires, and I think that is the right proper tire to go with this race. And so we're starting in P12. See if we can get a little bit of oomph coming up in this race here at the last sprint format race of the season at the Singapore Grand Prix. So everybody is ready to go. We're going to go with medium tires. Everybody else is going to go do the same thing. Let's hope we can try to make this fast, so that way we can beat out the rain here at Marina Bay Circuit in the Singapore Grand Prix. We're always good here, but then when we go to the main event, a lot of racing to go. See how that will progress. Let's get ready to pounce it out. The Singapore Grand Prix for episode number 18. Victor Martins is starting in P9 and I start in P12.
Okay, radar is clear. Weather is looking good for now. Okay, that's not an ideal placement in your grid slot. You're going to need a good launch at the race start. Overtake mode active. Overtake active. You've got more power now from the hybrid system. Use boost on the next long straight to get past. Okay, overtake enabled. Okay, so that's boost mode available if you need it. The car behind is dropping back by about 0.3 a lap. Well done. Great manoeuvre, you made it look so easy.
That was a nice maneuver. We move up into the top 10.
Okay, you're in the top 10. Great work, that's a new fastest lap of the race. Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. Nice move, good job.
That was a great move getting around the right side.
Green flag.
Well, we might have somebody rolling over. We'll be starting in the back of the field during the main event race. We are making some moves here. We're already into the points position here in the sprint race. Stronger than it has ever been. If I hit it a little bit too hard, the place we go, we P7 out right around.
Okay, gap to the car ahead, 1.6 seconds. Okay, you're catching the car ahead, but remember, we need to get to the end of the race on these tyres. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 2.0 seconds. Right, you've got boost mode available now. Use it if you want to.
Oh my goodness. That was close racing right there. Man, that was a little bit dangerous move to make that pass through there. Leave the rubber to piece there. That was fairly a nice move, but that was a little bit too dangerous there. That is a very bad place to pass. So they're coming out of that sector.
Okay, gap to the car in front, 4.7 seconds. No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving. Okay, gap ahead, 3.2 seconds. Gap to your teammate behind, 7.3 seconds.
They fight each other for fourth and third. And here comes Hamilton. They're getting around Russell. He moves up into P4. And that gave me a lot of advantage right there because they both were fighting each other for position and then they slowed down. And they gave me the advantage.
Yellow flag. Okay, be aware there's an incident in the next part of the track. No overtaking through the yellow flags. Advanced mode is available now. Okay, good work. Great pass. Pace is strong, but be aware these tyres need to go the distance. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 10.9 seconds.
Darn. Man, I had too much speed going into a and I ran into him. Well, it didn't work the first time.
Tyre condition still looking good. Get around the list down, we found the hole that we needed to, and now we move up in the P3, and it looks like that's projectively we're going to be at, because we only have about 2.5 laps to go in the sprint race. It was a great sprint race, we moved forward, but the longest race, the main event is yet to come. But how's the rain going to react to this? We might have a slight bit of a slowdown. But that was a very good move. But not very pretty when we went in the little championship.
race
Okay, you've
season
just started the
with
final
third
lap of
place
the
finish
race.
at
Final
Marina
lap.
Bay.
The car behind is dropping back by about 0.3 a lap. Well done.
All right, that was a good third
Yes,
place
mate,
finish
I'll
here in
take
the
that.
sprint
Well
race.
done. We're really happy with the
we will take
podium
that
down
in
here,
there
so
pretty
well
well.
done. Yes.
Now the question is, what will happen in the main event with the long 62 laps? Because we're going to start in the back of the field, but I know the rain will interrupt us a little bit.
Well, that's an end to the sprint
We'll
action.
keep it
Next
steady,
up,
and hopefully
we'll
it'll be
set
a
the
short
grid
rain.
for the Grand Prix.
And then after that,
So we'll see you next
we will,
time.
try to pace it out and see whatever we can finish here at Singapore. Oh, that was terrific racing here at the Singapore Grand Prix in our final sprint race. So that is it. All the sprint races have been completed in the first season of our Formula One My Team JPO career mode. So that is it for sprint races. So we finished in P3. We had the fastest lap with a Binin 33.719 with 6 points into the board. We just lost a couple, but we stand ahead in the point standings. It's still in first with 432 points, with 166 over Lando Norris. That's 266 and George Russell third. Kirk is still continuing to climb up to 202, and we're still 38 points ahead in the Team JPO 45 Audi under McLaren. Now let's go on and move on to the main event qualifying. See how we can do from there. Hopefully we don't have the worst qualifying, but if we go into lighter conditions and try to pace it out, then we'll have a good starting spot. All right, let's get ready for the main event qualifying.
As night falls in Singapore, the track starts to warm up, and it'll be red hot by the time we find out who's on pole for tomorrow's race. Time to set the grid then. Welcome along to qualifying here in Singapore.
All right, let's get ready for our main event qualifying. We're going to take a look at the rain stats, and maybe we could try to go with the inters at the last minute of qualifying.
Okay, I'm afraid we've dropped to P24. That's P24.
Have to re-qualify this because they went back to the reboost mode.
Okay, there's 2 minutes left in this session and we're in the drop zone. We need a quick lap or that's qualifying over for us.
Oh, what happened? Everybody went on soft tires, and I think we're gonna have to do this again. Oh, we went all the way down to dead last. Darn. I think I'm gonna have to redo it again because I think everybody went on soft tires and then we didn't get a chance to go on soft tires. So let's just restart the session and then try to go at the last minute and then do it on the soft tires. Because I want to get a good position before I get the 10th place grid penalty. Well, we didn't know how it was going to play out, but you know, but sometimes these rain delays that it's just causing us too much.
All clear the garage, please. Cars ready to leave.
I just made another mistake there. Yeah, I didn't want to go on interest. I wanted to go on drive. I pushed the wrong button though. I just want to go on dry, so just that way I have a chance.
Okay, there's 2 minutes left in this session and we're in the drop zone. We need a quick lap or that's qualifying over for us. We've been pushed down to P24, mate. Come on. dropped to P20.
Oh, P2. That was a nice qualifying there. That will certainly move us into the second qualifying session. 1:34.997, and we barely made it right into, this is a much better main event qualifying. And Victor Martins goes into, well, we were a lot faster in the second lap, but everybody else pitted, and we took care of it. See, that's what I like. You know, you get another chance in qualifying, and then you know the track is dry, and then we paid the price pretty well. We have more rain coming up in the third qualifying session. So we make sure we qualify early before it comes. Victor Martins is now the fastest, 1:31 right now for everybody else.
Dropped to P17. P17.
It is going to put us into a grid penalty to P21 because we're facing a 10th place grid penalty in this race. 1:32.593. It was a good qualifying lap, but fell short just a little bit. We could have made it into the third qualifying session. And we came so close. Came so close to beating out Alexander Albon. But it's going to put us in P21, but we don't know how the others are going to react. But it was a far better qualifying. A little bit far better, but it's still not enough right there to go up in the field. But we got a lot of ground to make up because we're going to be starting in P21 because we have to face that grid penalty. So we're going to be moving up into P21, but let's see what everybody else is going to react with their grid penalties. So in the beginning of the race, we might see a little bit of light rain coming into the area, but then when it dries out, then we'll try to make a fast pace on it and try to move up into the field. But let's see what happens. If we can't win the championship here in Singapore, we can sure win it in our home race at the US Grand Prix at Cota in the next one in episode number 19. So let's get ready for the main event race for 62 laps at the Marina Bay circuit, the Singapore Grand Prix.
Marina Bay hosted a Grand Prix that briefly ran in the 60s and 70s, but the Garden City re-entered the calendar for good in 2008. We missed it for a couple of years, but it was great to come back to the Singapore Grand Prix. And here's our track, 4.94 kilometers long, and overtaking chances into the first corner, into turn 14 at the end of the Esplanade, and now into turn 16 in the newly reprofiled sector that we first ran on in 2023. Still though, it's punishing and tough on the brakes, and the heat and humidity will take an effect on our drivers. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Victor Martins lines up on pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid,
is in the
we
pole
have
position.
Norris, Verstappen, George Russell,
For the first
and
time in
Antonelli,
our Team JPO 45
Piastri,
cars, so finally,
Hadjar,
for the first time, we have an Audi on the pole.
and Carlos Sainz, Alonso, Gasly, Franco Colapinto, and Behrman, Ocon, Perez, Gabriel Bortoleto, and Liam Lawson, Hulkenberg, Pepe Marti, Stroll, Bottas, Hamilton, and Arvid Lindblad rounds off the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? And with me for this commentary this afternoon, former racing driver Naomi Schiff. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, every driver certainly has their own way of preparing themselves before a race. But I can tell you that pre-race rituals are a real thing. When I was in go-karting, I used to touch every wheel in a specific sequence before I got into the kart. And then I stepped up to cars and had a specific set of fireproof base layers just for race day. So watch the drivers when they're on the grid. Some may be sitting on the floor and isolating, others may be up to other things that they do. But these little things really help their minds get ready for the race.
Fantastic podium at the last race, mate, but there's still a little bit of room in that trophy cabinet back at the factory. Let's see if we can fill it again.
All right, so we start in P20. Well, we move up one spot, but we're going to start off with the hard tires. Piastri is going to be the only driver that is going to come up with the soft tire. Liam Lawson and also Valtteri Bottas will be in the hard tires. So we're going to start off with the hards. I think it's the best choice to go for, so that way we could race out there longer. We could race out for 23 laps here, or otherwise 32 laps if we make it on a one-stop effort. But we could stay out there as long as we need to do, and then try to move up into the field. And then when the rains come, then we may have to change over to the inters for a little bit. And then after that, when it dries, then we could go to the then we could go with the medium tires but for the last stint. So that will be our call. Just go with the mediums because the leaders can last 30 laps, 32 laps for the hards. And that's the way we could do it. And at the end, let's see what happens. So we started way back in the field because we had to face a grid penalty. And same goes with Hamilton. He has to go in the back of the field. So let's hopefully we can try to move up into the front and see how it goes. So we started P20 right next to our Audi driver for the first time this season. What a good job by Victor Martins. And he is he is on top of the board. He gets his first ever pole position. His first ever pole position of the season. And it's been a long while coming for and finally Audi now gets on top of the board and gets pole position here at Singapore. Well, we got 23 laps to do it, but we may not be putting on the hard tires. We may because the rain will be coming. And you have the hard tires in there first, just in case if the rain comes through. It will be a very short rain. And then after that, we can go back into the dries.
Okay, expect to see some rain about 10 to 15 minutes from now.
Well, the rain is going to be coming out pretty early in the beginning of the Singapore Grand Prix. Let's just try to move up as much as we can. Because I know we're going to be in a little bit of a slowdown in the mid part of the race. And we'll see what happens at the end when we get back into the drive. We had a good third place in the sprint race. Now the main event. Then after that we have no more sprint races, and then the final 6 episodes could just be very easy to finish. We're getting into the end of July right now. August is coming up. And then we also have NASCAR 26 on the day. So we'll try to finish as fast as we could on all these episodes. We already started the second season of MotoGP. We should be able to finish the second season by September. And then right after that, we'll go straight to NASCAR. All right, that was much better this time. Now we're getting into the grid. Now here we go. The main event. 62 laps. Long, hard, piece of racing. The Singapore Grand Prix, and we're underway. I'm gonna have to slow it down a little bit because I'm just side by side with my lane off.
so overtake is active. Overtake mode active. You're going to get more power from the hybrid system. You know how it works. Just use boost on the next long straight to get your way past.
We're going to lose ground during rainy conditions.
Okay, overtake enabled, overtake enabled.
Oh, we got a bit of a slowdown. That could cause a red flag.
Okay, so that's boost mode available if you need it.
Oh my goodness, and that's the second time I had close racing going off in that hard sector there. And we move up to the P12 over Colin Mitchell. I guess these small cars are a big help. We also want to congratulate this weekend in Indianapolis 49 getting the second win of the season. But they need to do something about Indianapolis and NASCAR to provide much more passing and much more action over there, because they said it was boring. I agree to the people that they said that and everything else, but they gotta have to do something about that track. Provide more passing and then more actionable ability, so that way they can have maybe a decent crowd the next time they come over there next year. And they have to come over there next year. Well, we're moving forward. We're not going to keep going. We're at the start of the race. Ooh, Sainz has been flipped around just a little bit. Oh, I thought it was about passing. The Gasly just off the door. Darn! I hit too much on the brakes there. I didn't provide enough braking coming out of that turn, and then I ran out of race mode. I'm not making any bitty mistakes like that. And I make one itty bitty mistake.
Looks like rain is inbound and we're expecting it in around 5 minutes. 5 minutes until the rain.
Mr. Martins is still leading this Singapore Grand Prix. He's still trying to get around Pierre Gasly.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
Nice piece of passing getting around Pierre Gasly. We move up into P11. Squeeze play again going on to that turn. Oh, we did it again.
Good job. Nice overtake.
We move over to P10 and we're in post position. I think we got about 15 more minutes until that rain coach is over.
Top 10 now. Keep it up. Gap to your teammate ahead, 7.7 seconds. You're pulling out a second a lap on the car behind. Really good stuff.
Those tires are helping at all for Oscar Piastri. And my teammate is still leading this race. This is the first time he has led this season, and this is his best race of the season here at Singapore.
And gap to the car in front, 4.1 seconds.
Oh. And again, what am I doing wrong with that turn? The second time I've had trouble while with this turn here. Wind the brakes really hard, but still not getting enough effort to provide enough brake distance. Maybe the second time I think I'll roll it. hit that wall again because now Rain has arrived here at the Marina Bay circuit. I hope it doesn't last long. Victor Martinez is still leading this race. As Rain has approached over here, but see if I hope it approaches for a short while. So it approaches here on lap 8, so that's pretty early.
Careful on those slicks. These conditions are making the line a bit greasy, but we're still nowhere near the changeover point.
Closing the gap on Oscar Piastri and Antonelli, and Oscar Piastri did not get the pass going. He loses ground.
Right, you've got boost mode available now. Use it if you want to.
Soft tires. Usually last for about 3 laps. I think we're going to take over P7 over Oscar Piastri. Mr. Martinez is still leading this race. Oh no! I did not mean to make a pass there. A couple of banks on the wall, and now I have a contact with another car because Piastri went too close. I should have waited. I should have waited for Piastri to let go a little bit. I ran on race line, and then I made contact.
Tyre situation's an interesting one, but I think the right call is to stick with what we've got for now. Not again. Oh. Man, I'm having a lot of trouble with that turn on rainy conditions.
not really hitting the brakes that hard when we're trying to go over there. It just keeps slipping away.
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. Okay, you're dropping a few tenths per lap to the car ahead. They're just edging away.
Let's just try to keep our heads together and then try to have a decent race here.
It's still not a perfect situation, but I don't think we've got cause to move on to a different tyre yet.
Because I've already had wall bends 3 times. You know, when we have George Russell and Sainz up in our team next season, then they'll be able to solve that problem over here. And I hope conditions dry next season here at Singapore. I did well in the sprint race, but on my corner, I'm not doing well in the rainy conditions. I've been doing so well overall, but you get a lot more speed over here. If I turn the booster off, then I would provide enough racing.
Weather's changing now. We're going to have to change strategy, so it's time to box.
My teammate is not fitting. He wants to take an extra lap. Still right behind Charles Leclerc. My team is having a great run. Well, I got around Cinderella for P3.
Okay, so gap to the car ahead, 7.1 seconds. Right, we're no longer sure that these tyres are the right ones. It might be time to come in and change. Okay, Victor's in the pits. He's coming in for his stop now.
I'll come into the next stop because I didn't want to come in on the same lap as him.
Other teams are fitting intermediate tyres. It might be worth considering changing yours too.
Yeah, we're going to come in because I just wanted to not double pick and then lose ground.
Okay, boost mode and full straight mode have been disabled by stewards because of the conditions, so partial straight mode only.
Well, I don't know how much ground we're going to lose because I'm going to come in to change these tires.
Okay, mate, that's it. Go, go, go. That was a fantastic stop, faster than we were expecting. Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit or
Oh,
receive
no.
a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the
They
track.
put the wrong tires in there. I put the wrong tires in there. I was supposed to put the inters in there. Darn! I didn't check. Oh, I am so sorry. I didn't want these tires.
Push now, we're boxing this lap.
I put the wrong. I should have checked the tires. There's no way I can go with these tires. Oh, I am so sorry. I put the wrong tires in. I was supposed to put the. It wasn't supposed to be the soft tires. It was supposed to be the. I thought I changed it, but then they made a mistake. I can't go out there with these tires. It's too slick. They're too slick. Oh man, I forgot to change over to the inters.
Box now, please. Box this lap.
Yeah, we are going to box. I'm so sorry. So sorry for the crew and everything else. I should have put on the inters. I didn't want these tires. I wanted the inters. Because it's not making any traction at all. Yeah, we have to come in for the inters. We have to come in. It is going to let me lose position, but I have to put on the inters. Darn! I should have checked my tires. Made all this ground up and everything else, and then I should have checked on the tires.
Okay, off we go. Back into the race. Perfect job on the turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one. That was our last
Yeah,
stop.
we're not
No
happy
more
losing
scheduled pit
position.
stops. Let's go.
Well, we lost a lot of positions there, but we have to make them up. Darn! Why didn't I just change the tires? Well, let's just set our focus and then try to race as best we can. Because we apparently forgot to change the tires. Well, all we can do is just try to see if we can get a red flag or a safety car. Then probably that will put us back in the race. It puts me back into 21st. If we should have put those inters on, then we could have not lost all that track position. mistake.
No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving. Radar showing a clear patch on its way. There's about 10 more minutes of this rain.
But let's hope this rain will clear off quickly, and then let's see if we can try to make an tremendous comeback here. It's a very short rain, so we should be able to be back in dry conditions in about maybe lap 20 or lap 25.
Okay, keep an eye on that gap ahead, please. 5.5 seconds.
We have to check the time.
You're increasing the gap on the car behind by 0.5 a lap.
We made a big mistake because we changed over the wrong tires. And then, we can use the hards again. We can use the hards anymore, but now we have to use mediums.
Okay, here's the gap that we're trailing the car ahead by. 3.5 seconds.
the last 6 races, we don't have any more rainy conditions. We probably might have one more. We know about Brazil, but we don't have to worry about the sprint program. We are closing the gap a little bit on Portoletto.
Okay, I think the track's going to be drying out quite soon. Be careful you don't burn out your tyres.
Well, we get around easily on Portoletto. We move up into P20. We have a big traffic coming up, and as we get some dry conditions to get back, try to maybe get back into the top 10. Russell and Sainz is going into the pit. He's changing over.
Okay, you're creating some breathing space between you and the car behind by a few seconds a lap. Really good stuff.
Looks like he had wind damage. It seems to me that the Russell and Sainz has wind damage, so that moves us up a place to P19.
Okay, looks like some of those puddles are clearing. We're still definitely on the right tyre for the time being, but we're probably not a million miles away from slick conditions. Okay, gap to the car ahead, 4.9 seconds. Tyre condition still looking good. pace is strong, but be aware these tyres need to go the distance.
Dry up on lap 22, so it took us about 9 or 10 laps to get back into dry conditions.
Okay, gap to the car in front, 2.0 seconds. Weather's turning, we think it's time to box now. Understood, copy that.
Oh, the booster's back.
Okay, so the stewards have enabled boost mode and full straight mode. Pit now, pit now.
Yeah, that makes the pit stop really costly for that. Going into the pits.
There seems to have been a bit of a problem removing the left front wheel. We need to try and put that behind us though and finish the race strong. Okay, one stop to go, just one stop left in this strategy.
Stop is lap 38. And it drops us down to P19 because I forgot to hit the button.
Okay, Victor's in the pits. Victor is in the pits now. Okay, mate, boost mode if you need it. Boost mode if you need it. Okay, gap ahead, 1.8 seconds. Okay, good work. Great pass. Putting good distance between yourself and the car behind. No need to worry about the tyre condition for now, everything's looking good.
I have been having a lot of trouble with that turn.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
We've got a gap of about 3 seconds between you and the next car.
Hope we can do well in the second half of the race. And we can try to race. We're racing as hard as we can.
That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Well done.
2:42.
Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far. And gap to the car in front, 4.0 seconds.
Remember, we have to make one more pit stop. So if Anderson pits, I will pit as well for the final time. We've already made it up into P12, but we're having some serious problems so that we're coming out of that bridge, exiting and then and turning in. I have never had this kind of trouble like this in Singapore, and then actually I put the wrong tires on, wasted track position, and then we're going to have to go terribly rebound when we go to our home race at the US Grand Prix at Cota. And hopefully we don't have a problem like this. After 31 and 62 laps, we're already past the halfway point here at the Singapore Grand Prix with one more stop to go.
a new strategy of...
Yeah, Lewis Hamilton was trying to make the pass over there. I've been having trouble throughout this race. And ran him in, and now I ran into Lewis Hamilton. He was just trying to make the goal.
You need to give that place back, I'm afraid. That was an illegal overtake.
Yeah, I know. So Lewis Hamilton was trying to make the pass. He was trying to make the pass as well, but then he just ran out of the race then, and then I got warning for qualifying.
Right, you've got boost mode available now. Use it if you want to.
And we do pass Lewis Hamilton. Still, it was a little bit rough out there.
Okay, so gap to the car ahead, 1.7 seconds. Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
No question about it, because I've made too many bang contacts with Hamilton and everybody else, and then I put the wrong tires down. And we're getting back into this race, but let's hope we can get into the top 10 and then try to get some points out of it, and then try to think about the championship in the next one, and go to the U.S. Grand Prix and have a better life.
Good job, nice overtake.
Took us about maybe 20 laps to get back into the top 10. Over Lane Lawson. Trying to make as much time as possible. And also keep an eye open on Hamilton, see when he's going to make his last pit stop. Hopefully we'll have a good episode on episode 19 when we go to the U.S. Grand Prix. We'll have a better outing there because it's a much wider track than this is. Out of the race yet. We're already at the 45 of 62 laps. Trying to have a more of a better performance in the second half of the race. And we're in the top 10. We see Albon Gasly in the picture.
approaching the pit window and you're going to be on mediums. Okay, keep an eye on that gap ahead, please. 7.3 seconds.
That pit mistake during rainy conditions, we couldn't be finishing in the top two right now. That pit mistake really cost us.
Okay, we want you to pit this lap, so push now, push.
Hamilton's not going to be coming yet.
Box. Okay, this is good. You're catching the car ahead.
All right, we're going to be putting on the next lap.
Okay, Victor's in the pits. He's coming in for his stop now.
Victor, our team's not too far away. Everybody is pitting, so we're still running in P10.
Right, let's go, come on. Perfect job from you and the crew there, mate. We're delighted with that. Okay, mate, boost mode if you need it. Boost mode if you need it.
Man, Sergio, come on. Could have just waited. Oh, sorry about that. Could have just waited. There's no way you can pass through there. You didn't get one enough here.
Great manoeuvre, you made it look so easy. No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
Mistake I made coming out of that corner over there. Without you going to give me the room, you want to make contact. You know, in the next episode, we're going to need to have a better performance at the Cota. It was just that little bit mistake that we made, and it cost us the track position and those very rainy conditions. We are catching up into the field. We are running out of time. We only got about 20 laps away. Some of the others have decided to stay out. We're going to have red hot on tires.
Great work, that's a new fastest lap of the race. The gap between you and the car behind is increasing by a significant amount each lap. Good job. Nice move, good job.
Try to catch Max Verstappen and Pierre Gasly and get a decent position. We don't really want to get that 1 point. And we're closing in fast. If they keep on fighting, we're going to keep on closing. Now down to 13 seconds.
Okay, here's the gap that we're trailing the car ahead by. 8.1 seconds.
Alexander Albon going into the pit.
Don't forget, you've got more control than ever over your ERS mode, so play around with them in your MFD.
Albon goes into the pit. I think he's put on medium. That puts us up in place. We're in the P9. This is a very good hard piece of driving for Pepi, but we have had a disastrous race because we've already made too many wall banks. 4 times on this corner. And then we were too fast.
Tyre condition still looking good.
Other drivers and everything, and we're going to have to clearly do a good job next season. I hope weather will cooperate next season. That's painful. The 2 new drivers we have, which are more experienced.
next mode is available now. Putting good distance between yourself and the car behind.
Well, we now have 4 points in hands right now. Coming into P8. Still closing in on Max Verstappen. We're up to 49 and 62 laps. We should be able to maybe get a top 5 finish if we close the gap on Verstappen. We're back to 30 seconds. And also, Norris isn't having a good race either. He's in P6. So this is a good, mighty battle for the Formula 1 Championship. Well, the win is out of the window, but also closing the gap on Lando Norris.
Okay, gap to the car ahead, 8.9 seconds.
13 to go.
Right, the gap to the teammate ahead of us, 9.3 seconds.
To the 62 laps. We have 10.5 laps to go. 6.9 seconds down behind Verstappen. You see a gaggle of lineup of cars over there. Looks like Piastri is running the top 5 right now. As we projected that we were trying to go to B, but we have to we're gaining the gap there. It's shrinking up. Because Victor Martins is holding up the field. It'll be a terrific run if we get a P4 finish.
Okay, gap to the car in front, 5.4 seconds.
Pulled away from it dramatically over 35 seconds.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now, everything's looking good. Managing your tyres, manage your tyres.
We pass on the outside easily over Oscar Piastri. Here's some of our tires and wearing out. comeback. This has been for Pepi Marty. Moving up along the field. Mr. Martinez is running in fourth place. He was leading this thing. And he looks like he couldn't pick up the pace over Carl Leclerc or anybody else. Mr. Martinez is still now running in the P3. And I have been having a lot of problems with that corner. Seriously. This is going to be the fourth time. I know I'm racing too hard on this. Just running on a race room on that corner. Just been doing a terrible job of turning over that corner.
Okay, so that's boost mode available if you need it. Okay, gap ahead, 2.4 seconds.
4 seconds behind Lando Norris. Can we try to catch up to get into the top 5? Stages here at Singapore.
a second a lap on the car behind. Really good stuff.
And we move up into the top 5.
Nice work, mate. That brings you up a place.
What a great day for, well, Victor Martinez had a better day than Pepi did. Victor Martinez is saying, how in the world Pepi Marty moved up into the top 5? That was a lot of hard work that we were doing.
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
24 cars out there. It's been incredible racing so far. George Russell is in the lead. Martin Lewis is in second place, and we are now running in fourth. And we're about 2 seconds away from being an incredible
And gap to the car in front, 2.1 seconds. Okay, this is your final lap of the race.
Trying to get that podium at Marina Bay. They're closing in on Cindy and Cinderella. Now we're going to make our move there. We're going to make our move. Ooh, my goodness. That's a move right there. Russell wins the Singapore Grand Prix.
Oh, you are my hero! You're my hero! You've done it! All of that work has come down to this, and you are the world champion.
Oh, and it
Great
is official.
stuff.
We have won the world championship after this horrendous comeback here at Singapore.
And
Well,
now
it's
the
certainly been an
World
incredible
Championship
year for
has been
Formula
clinched.
One, and our drivers have all pushed themselves this
And Pepi
season,
Marty
making
becomes
it one of the most
rookie in
compelling
history
years
in a
of
long
racing
while in
in
Formula
history.
One. And
There
he
can only
has
be one
won
champion,
the
however,
World
and here they
Championship.
are now, our new Formula One World Drivers' Champion. Here's the checkered flag, here's our winner.
Yeah,
By
we should have
George,
had a
he's
decent
done it.
race here at
Russell
Singapore.
wins.
But George Russell wins the race, but Pepi Marty has won the Formula One World Championship with only just about 6 races left to go. That is pretty early, and how many times have we won championships at Singapore? But this was one of the roughest races that we have ever
It's what they've all
here.
been racing
Even though it
towards,
wasn't a- it was
waiting
a
for
bad
them.
outing and
High
everything
above
else,
the
but,
pit lane
but Pepi
is our
Marty
podium. And for
has
the
enough
lucky
points to win
three,
the championship
it's
because
time to
Lando
stand on
Norris-
it.
We stayed ahead of Lando Norris.
And taking his place on the top step of the podium, he gave it some hustle. Well done to George Russell.
Oh, man.
Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, George Russell wins, so we got enough points to win the championship. It was 18 points. So we averaged third place in this race, and a good job for Pepi Marty. So we get 28 points out of that one. Well, we finished in P4 after finishing a rough 20th position. We went back and forth and then right back to it at the end. But it was a bad outing in the race. But we'll have a better outing in the next one when we go to episode number 19 and our first post-championship. But now we have to focus on thinking about the Constructors' Championship, because now we're just only 48 points ahead. But the magic number is supposed to be 44 or over to win the Constructors' title. So it's official, Pepi Marty had enough points with 6 races left to go to win the World Championship. He wins it with 444 points over Lando Norris with 274, George Russell third with 251, Charles Leclerc fourth with 220, and then Kimi Antonelli rounds up the top 5 with 174. Now we are going to get a photo picture of the World Championship right after we sign off. So looks like Lando Norris won't catch us down because he'll have to settle in for a second place finish. But George Russell won the race. That's the first win for the Mercedes AMG team all season long. But you know, George Russell is going to be coming to our team next season, and possibly maybe we'll go with Mercedes next season. And Leclerc was third, and then Kimi Antonelli fourth. And I know the McLarens are regaining their confidence, but congratulations to Lando Norris last Sunday at the Hungarian Grand Prix for winning that race. And then he, what a great effort by the McLaren team in real life. But now they have their summer break because they won't have another race until the Dutch Grand Prix at Max's house for the last and final time. Remember, that is a sprint format race at the Dutch Grand Prix, in the next one in the end of August. And then NASCAR won't be racing until the next 2 weeks. They'll be going to the Iowa Speedway. And they have the final 4 races until the chase for the championship, because the final 4 regular season races is going to be at Iowa, Richmond, and I think New Hampshire, and then the second race at Daytona. And then after that, then they start the Southern 500 will be starting the beginning of the chase for the championship. And then Victor Martins, now he's going into the top 10 in the point standings, boosting some points. He was leading early in the race. You know, we could have won this race if we didn't have that pit mistake. So, and look at this. What a good job in the Constructors' point standings. Even though that Mercedes is cutting it down a little bit, Ferrari's in 4th. And then, and look at this. This Constructors' Championship is getting battled to the nitty-gritty with 487 points. They have 439 for McLaren, and the Mercedes has 425. Man, that was incredible racing, but that is not championship caliber racing there for Pepi Marty. but he becomes the first rookie in history as a rookie, and then Audi as a drivers' championship. And we haven't won the constructors' championship. It will be the first one ever for Audi, just for this one hit wonder season for Audi before we move to Mercedes next season. But there you have it. The championship has already been closed. It has already been clinched by Pepi Marti. That's all he needed. He needed to finish fourth or better to win. But it was a very, very eventful and a very rough race at the Singapore Grand Prix. But hopefully next season with the new driver, when we become George Russell, that just won the race with Mercedes. Remember, he won't be back with that team next season. He's going to be going to the Team JPO 45. We change engines next season. Man, look at all the bumping contact that I had. And we finished the race, but Victor Martins should have managed his strategies just a little better. But we are going to get a homepage of a thumbnail photo of the championship. So it's already been clinched with 6 races to go into the Formula One calendar. Man, so many times we have clinched championships at the Singapore Grand Prix. So many times. And Pepi Marti has done it. He is now official. He is now a Formula One world champion for our team. And I guessed it right that we were going to win the drivers' title, and it was a championship deciding race. But now we can enjoy the final 6 races. But Pepi Marti won't be back next season. But he may go to Mercedes, where we don't know if Victor Martins is going to be driving a Formula One car next season, because now we have 2 new drivers coming in. But that was a great drive by Pepi Marti, finishing in P4. But we'll have a much better performance outing in the next one. So congratulations to Pepi Marti. He wins his first ever Formula One World Championship. So we keep our sentiments pretty much steady at this point. Well, we'll have a better outing in the next one, but the next one we'll have is the MotoGP. That will be coming up tomorrow for the U.S. Grand Prix. We'll do that one first, and then we'll do the Formula One.
Hey, Chief, just a reminder to kick off
US
some
Grand
research
Prix
projects. We don't want to fall behind
on,
our rivals,
Wednesday.
and we haven't got anything in the
We'll
pipeline
do
at
it
the
on
moment.
Thursday for
Thanks.
the Formula One My Team JPO Career Mode for episode number 19. When we go to the U.S. Grand Prix. That is the next Grand Prix coming up, and now we can celebrate our post-championship. But all we need to do is just get as much points as possible for the constructors' points standings, with 5 races left to go. So congratulations, and now our title sponsorship is growing, and everything else is doing pretty well. And now we get another owner's training. We're going to make that one a personal training. So it was a good job. So let's take a look at the results. Take a look at the driver's lineup. Remember, Lewis Hamilton is not coming back next season, but congratulations to Pepi Marti. These 2 are not coming back next season, but we already signed Carlos Sainz. He'll be out of Williams, and then George Russell will be out of the Mercedes team. So that's what's going to happen then next season. I'm glad we're going to have George Russell and Carlos Sainz. Much better outing, and then much better performance for them for next season. when we have the drivers lineup. Because they've already signed on with the team for next season. But it was a very rough race, but we'll have a better performance when we come back here next season at the Singapore Grand Prix. And hopefully it will be much more of a racing pace and then not hitting more of a bang any more walls. We did far much better in Azerbaijan, but we didn't do as well in the Singapore Grand Prix. But we'll have a better outage here in the next race. But now that we have won the championship, now we can put that right behind us. But a great job for Pepi Marti. He gets his first ever championship. It will be his one and only championship that he's ever had in his Formula One early career. But what a great job he has done for our team all season. We like to think of him do very well, but we wish him in future endeavors to him and Martins, as we now got Russell and Sainz into our team for next season. But we have five more races to go, and the next one will be at our home race at the US Grand Prix at the Cota. But thank you so much for watching on the Speed JPO 303 channel. Pepi Marti wins the Formula One World Championship. And he did it with a stride, and he did it with a lot of pride. And there you see it right there, that the Formula One World Championship belongs to Pepi Marti. He wins it with 444 points over Lando Norris, who now he can't even have enough to get all the way and win the championship by finishing in 4th place. But it was our worst race of the season because of it was a poor outing in the Singapore Grand Prix. But we'll have a better outing in the next one when we go to the US Grand Prix. So we have the US Grand Prix, Mexico, episode number 20, Brazil. All these races are now regular races for the last 6 races. And then next season when we start Australia again, it will be number 7. And then the sprint format race rejubilates again at the Chinese Grand Prix. But a great job and a great season for Pepi Marti. Now we have all the sprint races all been completed and accomplished, and now we can finish off the first season of our Formula One 26 My Team JPO career mode. Thanks everyone so much for watching on the Speed JPO 303 channel, and hopefully we can have a better outage and then try to close out and see if we can win the Constructors' Championship. We should be able to clinch it if we do a good job at the Las Vegas Grand Prix. To see if we can be on our fingers and toes and do better in the next race. So goodbye for now then. We'll see you into the next one tomorrow for MotoGP action at the US Grand Prix at the Cota. So we'll have a double Cota race for the MotoGP and on Thursday, Formula One. Goodbye everyone.